Good morning. Melinda here with Get Off My Lawn, Please. Today is our last installment of Read Vickie Wednesdays. Stay tuned. Hi, Melinda here with Get Off My Lawn, Please. Please subscribe to my channel, like my videos, share my videos, comment below, and click the little notification bell. It's free. Today is our last installment of Read Vickie Wednesdays. We're going to be done with the book today. This is the book my husband, Mike Sims, wrote, so I have his permission to read from it, so there's no copyright issue. Today we're going to start with the chapter, Third Time is a Charm. Vickie takes a few days to rethink her first two jobs. She comes through the internship offers a little more critically, as there is one she passed up because the company was a bit of a startup. She thinks that maybe there is a better opportunity there being a new company. The pay is not as good, but it may be an opportunity to affect the culture a little before it turns vampire weird like the first two. She goes to an interview with the CEO and founder of Dynamic Marketing, Tom Patterson. Vickie arrives in his office as they shake hands and sit. Tom, Vickie, I am quite surprised you're interested in our company with your credentials from college. Vickie, well, I tried out a couple of established companies already, and it just did not seem to work out well. What happened? The first one was a jungle, and the second one was a goat. Tom laughs a little. Goat, okay. We are fairly laid back here. My personal views on employees is they are grown adults and we should not have to baby them. I have to support them and give them the tools they need to empower them to do whatever they know to do. I feel that if I help my people and put them first in turn, they will do the same. If you treat employees badly, they have If you treat your employees badly, they have no motivation and maybe even will do malicious compliance to sabotage you. I don't need that here. There is no reason work can't be something to look forward to and enjoy. Everyone is like family here. Sure, we have a black sheep in our family, but it keeps the mix interesting. How does it sound to you? It sounds great. I think your philosophy is sound. What are you looking for in a career? I like the idea of shaping people's thought processes through marketing. I know we may do campaigns for things that are harmful like alcoholic beverages, but I will perform my job as well as anything else. That is good to hear, but I do not work for anything alcohol related. There is good money in it, but I have no issue with alcohol manufacturers, but I am a recovering alcoholic, sober 10 years now, and I simply do not want to work for them. Vickie smiles. My dad was an alcoholic and it killed him. I'm sorry to hear that. I nearly drank myself to death too. He did not drink himself to death, but it did do him in. Tom looks for a little bit. If it gets away from you, then unfortunately that is inevitable. Anyway, what is your ultimate goal if you work for my company? For it to be my company. Tom smiles. That may take a long time, but anything can happen. Let me show you around the place. They get up and Tom takes her on a tour of the 20-person company. He then shows her a small windowed office and says, this would be your office if you accepted a position here. Vickie, am I being offered a position here? Vickie, I would be fool to pass up on offering someone with your honors a job here. I can't pay the norm for starters, unfortunately, but maybe if we grow bigger, I can make some adjustments. Vickie looks out the window and turns around. I accept. Really? I mean, welcome aboard. They shake hands as Tom is excited. Start anytime you like. How about Monday? Monday it is. Let me get you to the HR person to get you situated, and then we will see you on Monday. Vickie and Tom go to the HR person as Vickie fills out paperwork and then leaves for home. She has a good feeling about the place, even though it pays lower to start. But Vickie has plans to change all of that. Monday comes and Vickie walks in the door of her new job. Tom is there to greet her. Vickie, welcome to your new job. I already got your office outfitted with the desk and stuff to get you going. He walks her over to the office and it looks nice. Brand new furniture and even a tall plant in the corner. What do you think? Vickie pans around. Very nice. Thank you, Mr. Patterson. Tom, I am Tom around here. I may be your boss, but we are all partners in success here. Vickie smiles. Okay, Tom, what should I do first? Well, why don't you get your office organized the way you want it for a while? In a couple of hours, I will call a meeting and introduce you to the gang. After that, we will get you one-on-one and show you what we need and give you some things to work on. Vickie, sounds great. Tom leaves as Vickie walks around her office, running her fingers down her newer desk. She sits in the comfortable chair and spins around a couple of times, stopping at the window behind her. She stares at the six floors down, overlooking a park nearby. A feeling of warmth washes over her. She starts to organize things. Later, a meeting is called and Tom introduces Vickie to the team. They discuss the projects at hand, give Vickie a rundown of where they are. She feels very welcome as they talk to her as if she's been working there all along. She asks questions and her suggestions are addressed and respected. It is an environment of respect that she has not seen in the first two jobs. After the meeting, she converses with some of the workers. The IT manager, Mike Sims, tells her that her notebook workstation just came in today and he will have it set up for her by the end of the day. She thanks him as Tom asks if she would come into his office to go into the business further. They spend time working on things and then Tom takes Vickie to lunch. Vickie, thank you for lunch. Tom, you're welcome. I hope you like the food. I can eat their sandwiches every day, it seems. They are good. Thank you for the opportunity for your company. Vickie, we don't get top shelf. College graduates come to work for us every day. My guys are great and talented in their own right, but we need more good people. I think we can land some bigger accounts and do very well against the big guys if we just have the right chemical mixture in our employee pool. I have a good feeling about you. You seem very confident and despite your young age, very experienced. Well, I've been through a lot and that tends to mature you up quickly. Yeah, I'm sure. So how did you start this company? I started 5 years ago when I left a large marketing firm. I was a vice president there, but things changed then, and the culture was not suited to my taste anymore. They were cutting you out of things, right? No, not really. I was in the inner circle, so to speak, but there was a degree of the way people can be treated that I did not like. It was not happening to me, but others. I just felt I needed to change things. I took a chance, put all of my eggs in one basket, and started Dynamic. Did your wife like that? Tom looks down his ring and says, no, not married anymore. She left long ago because of the drinking. It was the thing that got me sober. Almost lost my job, but managed to get my act together. 5 years later, I was clean and sober, but things got tough at my old company. You were drinking again, and that is why you started Dynamic. Tom looks surprised and sits back in his chair. You don't miss much, do you? That was exactly why I did it. The stress there was getting too much. At least with my own venture, the stress is mine and not others. I am impressed you figured that out. The patterns are the same. I lived with that my whole childhood. You seem like a really nice guy. I think you made the right move. I'm glad you approve. Sorry, I get too direct at times, I guess. No worries, you're young. Seasoning comes with age. They finish their lunches. Tom says, we better get back before the boss catches us being late. Vickie laughs as they walk back to the building to their offices. Mike, the IT guy, has finished setting up the notebook on her desk. Vickie, that was quick. Mike, let me show you the email and file structure. Mike educates her on the use as she navigates around a bit. Tom comes by and shows Vickie more of what they do. Mike, let me know if you need anything, Vickie, and welcome aboard. Vickie, thank you, Mike. Tom, thanks, Mike. Mike leaves as Tom asks, he get you straightened out? Vickie, I think so. So it will take a while to comprehend how it is set up. Tom shows her the ins and outs of the business and leaves her files to look at. As quitting time approaches, Tom walks in. So how was the first day? Vickie, very nice, thank you. Well, don't keep yourself here. There is always tomorrow. Vickie closes the folder. Sure, I will see you tomorrow. Tom smiles as he leaves. Have a good evening. Vickie goes on to see other employees off as Vickie watches. She thinks to herself that this man really enjoys people. She may have found her job. She gets up and leaves for home. Weeks pass and Vickie has acclimated nicely to her new job. She seems to be picking up quickly on how to do things. A meeting they have been preparing for finally comes today. Seems a large client has given them a chance to hear out their ideas for a new company image. Tom and his team present various marketing campaign ideas as they get shot down one after another. The client asks, those are not bad campaigns, but we are selling everything from toothbrushes to artillery for war. The problem is that certain sections of the populace would prefer not to buy home products from an arms dealer, even though that is a separate division of the home division altogether. We need to soften the image of our home product side of the company. You have anything that can solve that problem? Tom and his team look around at each other as there is silence. Vickie says, Sir, Have you thought about just owning the problem? The client looks confused and says, young lady, we're trying to avoid that. You can't avoid what you sell. The public is aware of it. What I'm saying is not trying to hide or avoid it, but advertise the fact that you sell ammo. Make people very aware you do, and that is something you are proud about, because if you do not, some unscrupulous company would. Soften the arms part of your company. Make it seem you're filling the void with your quality. Say it is so much that those who protest about it will have no one to rant to anymore. Everyone will know it and won't care eventually. Fact is, companies are here to make money, so people just need to quit being infants about it and pick other battles to fight. Stagnation breeds controversy as it grows when nothing is there to keep it out. As far as product quality, the bottom line is that people can choose 2 out of 3 options: fast, cheap, or good. They can pick any 2, but will lose the third. Bring this out in the open, and you will wear the issue out and get the attention at the same time. Tom and the other team members are sitting there staring at Vickie with mouths open as they pan over to the client. He sits there staring at Vickie and then starts chuckling, then laughs as Tom and the team begin to laugh. The client says, maybe you're right. We shouldn't shy away from what we are. You guys have a week to get me a marketing campaign on it, all right? Tom, yes, sir, we're on it. The client gets up and shakes hands as he leaves. Tom escorts him out, but quickly comes back to Vickie. Bold, different. That is your count to project manage. Vickie smiles as she begins to call team members in to start working on ideas. The next week, the client returns to hear Vickie's pitch. Client, okay, ma'am, what do you have? Vickie stands up and starts a slide presentation. Your company started out making soap. Then it moved to a variety of household products. You acquired a company 20 years ago that made ammo. This company was producing poorly made cheap ammo that failed often. They were about to go under when you acquired them. Since then, you have produced some of the most recommended ammunitions, even among gun groups. That needs to be told, and in this campaign shown that no matter what you make, it is the best. High quality for everyone. Because while a hairbrush may not save a life, a good quality bullet used by a homeowner or a police officer might. This is your philosophy. This is your stand on all products. Here's what we are suggesting in making this statement proudly. Vickie outlines the markets and statistics that they have come up with and where it should be advertised first. The client asks many questions, and at the end of the meeting rubs his chin, looking at the last slide. You know, folks, I'm going to present this to the board for approval. I think this would work. He stands up and shakes hands with Tom and the other team members. Then he walks over to Vickie. Young lady, I'm impressed, and that does not happen often. You have a sense of genuineness about you, and I like that. Vickie, thank you, sir. You will hear from us soon. He leaves as Tom walks over to Vickie. I will be right back to talk to you. Tom returns and asks Vickie to join him in his office. As they sit, Tom says, Vickie, I am adjusting your salary to full standard for your profession. As project manager for this account, you will also get a small commission out of it. Vickie, I appreciate it, but are you sure you want to adjust my salary when things are so tight? This account is not a guarantee. Tom, even if we don't get the account, I want you to be paid in full. I can't afford to lose someone like you. Thank you, Tom. I hope we get the account. Most likely we will, because that man is a heavy stockholder in the corporation, so the board will likely follow his lead. Be proud of yourself. You did good. I just wanted to be honest about things. You know, in this business, we spend so much money and time trying to figure out how to scare people into buying things, driving their emotions to need something that they really do not. Maybe people are hungry for truth and plain speaking about things. I think companies would have a lot less PR issues if they did. Tom smiles and they return to work. A few days later, Tom calls a meeting of the entire staff. Everyone gathers, as this is usually not good news. I am sorry to say, everyone, I have some bad news. The bad news is that I have no bad news. We just landed the big account today. Everyone claps and shakes each other's hands. The client has signed for a media campaign based upon our design for years to come. We will be working on this starting now. This means real revenue, far more than all our other accounts put together. Someone yells, Vickie, and the room chants, Vickie, Vickie. Tom smiles at Vickie as she's slightly embarrassed and smiling. In the months that followed, the campaign has done remarkably well, and the company's starting to get more accounts. Tom mentions to Vickie, we need more staff already. I need an assistant to rec things. I have you guys to project manage accounts, but I need someone to carry out various tasks. Vickie looks at the ground and then back at Tom. I know someone. You do? Someone who can walk in and take off running? I'm sure of it if they will come. Bring them in. The next day at lunch, John Taylor from Kingsway Marketing is eating lunch when Vickie sits next to him. John, well, there you are. How have you been? Vickie, I'm fine. I'm working for another marketing firm. How are you? It's the usual crap each day. Have to say, though, you made an impression on Mr. King that day. How is good old Stan? Still smells? John laughs. Yeah, the same way. What brings you here? I came to see you. How would you like to come work for my company? Seriously, I don't know. I've been there a long time. I know it's scary when you're used to certain things a certain way. Trust me, you will thank me. The job is what you are doing now, but for a much better boss. John looks around. I don't know. Does he smell? Vickie laughs. Not a cent on him. John smiles. You know what? I will talk to him. Tomorrow around lunchtime. I will set it up. Here is the address on his card. Vickie stands. It is good to see you, John. Hope to see you tomorrow. John holds the card. Thank you, Vickie. He looks at the card and Vickie as she walks away. The next day at lunch, John shows up and Vickie sees and greets him. Vickie, hi, John. Thank you for coming. John, this is a cozy place. Here, let me introduce you to the owner, Tom. She escorts him to Tom's office. Tom, this is John Taylor from Kingsway Marketing. Tom, hi, John. Hear nice things about you. Come on in. They shake hands as Vickie, well, I'll leave you two alone. Both men say, thank you, Vickie. They both laugh as the interview starts. Vickie is reading material as Tom points John to her office and he walks in. Vickie, how'd it go, John? I start in 2 weeks. Vickie stands up, shakes John's hand. That is great, John. Thank you, Vickie, for not forgetting about me. You're welcome. Vickie shows John around quickly, but lets him go so he can get back to his old job. Growth spurts. In the months that follow, the company has seen a major jump in growth. John has been indispensable to Tom, and John is loving his new job. The season slows down a bit for them, and John talks to Vickie. Hey, Vickie, I want to thank you for this job. I love it here. Vickie, you sure fit in here well. Would you like to come over and have dinner at my place? Not a date or anything. I make a mean lasagna and would love to treat you to it. Sure, John, what time? 7? Good? That's fine. I will email you my address and directions. John leaves as Vickie smiles. Later that evening, Vickie arrives at John's house. Come in, Vickie. Thank you for coming. Everything's almost ready. Vickie comes in the house and John runs to the kitchen saying, make yourself at home. Vickie stares around the nice, well-kept house and sees toys on the floor and the mantel pictures of John and another woman. Who is in the pictures? John leans around the corner like, oh, that is my wife, or I should say she was. She passed away. I'm sorry to hear about that. John walks to the edge of the room with a dish towel, wiping his hands. It was 7 years ago. She died giving birth to our little angel, Becky. Vickie, where's Becky? She's at my mom's. My mom insisted on babysitting her while we have our date. Her words, not mine. I think she was hopeful since I never date. Yeah, I understand. You don't have any pictures of your daughter up here. John comes around and looks. Lord help me, Mom took them. Vickie stares and notices 2 blank spaces where picture frames could have sat. John sits the lasagna on the dining table and says dinner is served. Vickie walks up and sees a nice array of food. This looks really good. Well, thanks. I thought about being a cook for a living, but just never got around to it. I love cooking, though. Love to cook for my wife all the time, which was perfect because she hated cooking. Vickie sits down as John dishes up portions on her plate. Thank you, John. You're welcome. John sits down and begins to eat. This is incredible. I told you this is my best specialty. I love Italian food. They eat for a while and Vickie asks, you miss your wife? Yeah, more than anything in the world. But I have her daughter, and she is the best thing to happen since my wife died. She fills me with love and joy. That is great, John. Sounds like you are a good daddy. I try to be. It is hard being a single parent. I don't think I could do it. You could do anything, but you might think you can't. But when you have that little person depending on you, you find the ability. If only every daughter had a daddy like you. John stares at Vickie. Yeah, I suppose so. John is realizing that Vickie has not had a good family life and changes the subject. I am thankful for you in finding me this job. I'm really surprised to see you again. I have to admit something to you. When I worked at your old company, Stan had mentioned to me about replacing you. John slowly chews as he looks at Vickie. I had a feeling Stan was getting bored with me. I tried not to give him any excuses to get rid of me. I guess I have you to thank even more because if I would have lost my job, it would have been hard to find another one in this game. Not a lot of longevity in marketing world anyway, but at that place I've been for a while. But at that place I've been there for a while. The one benefit is that I could take care of Becky when I needed. I suppose that That was one thing that Stan did not like, my other responsibilities. I noticed something. Oh, yeah, what's that? You don't call him Mr. King now. John looks around and laughs. You're right. Imagine that. The evening progresses and the meal is consumed. They adjourn to the living room and chat about various things. Vickie, this place is too clean. John, I'm not much on clean, but my wife, she was. She could not stand for anything to be unclean. I guess I keep it up for her. John looks at the ground and back up. I'm sorry. I did not mean to bum you out. It's no problem, John. You're fine. The time has gotten away from us a bit. Oh, yes. I'm sorry to keep you so long. It was just so nice to talk to someone again. Vickie and John stand up, and at that time the door knocks. John opens the front door, and his mom and daughter are there. John, hi, sweetie. He picks his daughter up and says, Mom, this is Vickie from work. Vickie walks over to shake hands with her as Mom walks in. John closes the door and says, this is Becky. Becky, say hi to Vickie. Becky peers out from hiding from her dad's shoulder, and Vickie sees she has Down syndrome. Well, hi there, Becky. Becky, hi. Becky hides her face on Dad's shoulder and pops up laughing. Vickie, she's adorable. John, thank you. She is very special to me. Vickie looks at his mom. It is nice meeting you, Mrs. Taylor. Mom looks at Vickie and looks at John, turning to move toward the fireplace and says, this one is a 10, Johnny. John, Mom, please. Vickie smiles as she watches his mom put the 2 pictures of Becky back on the mantel. She realizes that she took them for the date in case it was a problem seeing the daughter. John says in a quiet voice, I'm sorry. Vickie replies quietly, no worries. Mom turns around from the fireplace. I hear perfectly well, you know. Don't need to apologize for me. John, Mom guessed? Mom, boy, you think I'm stupid? I see her. You think she can't handle a little adult conversation? Vickie, Mrs. Taylor, I can handle it quite well. Mom, very good. Well, good, because I don't like to beat around the bush. Mom pinches Vickie's arms. Kind of muscular for a woman, don't you think? Vickie smiles as John rolls his eyes around. Mom, if I had muscles like that, my late husband would never have gone with me. Vickie, I'm sorry, ma'am. You no longer have John's dad anymore? Mom looks at John. Well, probably his dad. There were others back then. Mom, well, it's true. I needed a real man once in a while, and your dad, well, he was just lost when it came to the bed. Mom, please. I'm not ashamed of it. He did provide well. I had to work. I had to do everything, it seems. John just stares around. Mom, he was an okay man, I suppose, until he up and had a heart attack on me. I told him to take care of himself, but he had to eat those stupid chicken fried steaks all the time. Vickie, I suppose that would do it. Mom, you're looking a little young for my Johnny, but healthy. Vickie, thank you, but we just work together. Mom, sure, I know how it is. He is still pinning after his wife, and that is going to kill any chances with you. I don't think so, because we are just co-workers. Mom, all the same, he could not attract a woman in his pathetic state of mind. Reminds me of his father. I guess that is the only evidence that he really is his father. John looks embarrassed and upset as his daughter asks, what's the matter, Daddy? Vickie looks at both. You know, ma'am, I don't think your husband died. I think he dug a hole 6 feet deep and buried himself to get away from you. The room is quiet as John's mom has a stern, upset look on her face, staring at Vickie. Vickie stares right back as John hides himself waiting for the explosion. Mom burst out laughing. My boy, if you don't pursue this one, I'm going to kick your butt. Listen, dearie, you come back and see my Johnny for more dates. Vickie, thank you, Mrs. Taylor. John, I need to leave now, okay? Goodbye, little Miss Becky. Becky's shying away and looks back at Vickie. Bye-bye. Vickie leaves as the door closes. John just stands there holding Becky, letting out a long gasp and his head on the door. Mom, oh, don't worry. I didn't do anything to that girl. You better watch out. That woman is a tough one. John, I know, tough like you. His mom turns to face John. No, son, tougher, much tougher. You stay close to a woman like that, and you will be okay. The night ends with Vickie driving home and laughing about the night's events. The next day, John comes by Vickie's office to apologize. John, Vickie, I'm so sorry for my mom's treatment of you. Vickie, no need to apologize. She and I are a lot alike. Your daughter is precious. Thank you. I volunteered at a therapy place for children with Down syndrome. I'm a little bit more fortunate that my daughter is more functional with Down syndrome. At the place, parents come in for help in understanding it, and parents like us try to help the newer parents. It is very difficult for someone who has never had to deal with it. Will they ever know what causes it? They know a couple things that cause it, but they can detect it before birth. What is sad is that the norm is to tell parents to abort the kid or institutionalize the kid after they are born. I know the doctors are trying to help the parents by bearing the guilt and avoid a lifetime of struggle, but my wife and I could not do it, even with birth risk in her health. So for me, after my wife died upon Becky's birth, there was no way in hell I was going to give up my child. It was all I had left of my wife. Reality is that Becky was no issue at all. It has been a joy the whole time. Vickie, you have a lot to be proud of, John says. Oh, by the way, my mom wrote you a letter. I have no idea what is in it, but she made me promise to give it to you. John hands the letter to Vickie. Vickie, don't worry. I won't let it get to me. John smiles and leaves. Vickie opens the letter from John's mom, and it says, Vickie, I'm sorry for being rude when we met. My boy lives in such a shell since his wife died. He needs to be more assertive. Fact is that I'm proud of him and love him very much. I know that you are not interested in him. What I ask is if you would watch over him. He lets people walk over him too much. Will you please take care of him for his and my granddaughter's sake? I won't be around forever. Vickie stares at the letter and puts it back in the envelope. She gets up and walks over to the paper shredder to feed the letter into it. She then walks to John's office and says, John, tell your mom for me the answer is yes. Yes? Yes. Okay, I'll tell her. Vickie smiles and walks away. Tom comes into Vickie's office. Vickie, I just wanted to say these past months have been incredible. You are doing a great job. Vickie, thank you, Tom. Looks like we're running out of room in this suite. Actually, that is what I've come to talk to you about. There is another building not far from here, on the other side of the park, right next to the bookstore. Would you like to come with me and take a tour of it? They have space that would accommodate our growth well. Sure. They leave to look at the new place. As they are shown around by the building management, Tom and Vickie look around. Tom, Vickie, I think I would make that corner my new office. Vickie, nice. How about that space next to it is yours? That is a nice size office, you sure? It is no question you earn, and everyone feels that way because of you, we have grown twice our size in months, and we will grow more. I want to give you more responsibility in managing people, groom you for a better position later. Your advice is invaluable, and I depend on you. You deserve this office. I'm honored. Okay, I will take it. Good. As they're leaving, Vickie says, you already picked out that space, didn't you? That is why John is not with us or the other guys. I actually showed them last week and talked to them. Wanted to make sure they were okay with your new office, and they were. I actually will be signing the lease this week on it, and they will start the build out. In a few months, we should be moved in here. Well, it is enough space. You must be optimistic. For the first time in years. As time passes, Dynamic moves to their new office. Vickie's giving more oversight of accounts and input into campaigns. The company grows as Tom brings in more marketing people and a new vice president, Dan Childers, to help guide them into growing to the next phase of the company. Dan comes from a diverse background, and his experience as well as relationships brings things to a new level. Vickie works closely with Dan, learning the ropes of corporate culture. As the year progresses, she has managed to finish her master's early. She continues to teach and be instructed by Sato at the martial arts school. Things begin to move smoothly, and Vickie is pleased with her life. She decides to visit late at night an old friend. As she climbs on the roof of her old college and finds Professor Jack Chan staring through his telescope as usual. Jack, well, if it isn't the Valkyrie herself. Vickie, hello, Mr. Chan. Things looking up? Vickie, yeah, looking up. You know how many worlds out there have intelligent life like ours? May have intelligent life like ours. Many? More than can be imagined, mathematically speaking. Well, will we have to fight them? I don't think so. The ones we would have to fight would be too far away to reach us. Say, do you think that mathematicians believe when we die there's an aftermath? Ha ha, you are so funny. How are you doing lately? I'm doing great, actually. I think I might have found my place in life. Helping people? No, marketing and making companies more profitable, influencing people to buy products. It is quite amazing, actually. It is good training. Training for what? You really think we were meant to just sell things to each other? I think you were meant for much greater things. All this is just teaching you what you need to get there. I don't see how I'm happy where I am. You think I went to school to be an astronomer or stare at stars all night? That's all I see you do. You're not seeing what I see. I'm not looking at the stars all the time. I'm looking at space. Why, nothing there. Oh, but you're wrong. Everything is there. Forces we can't even measure are there. I believe that someday we will discover we're in a vast ocean, and the space will not even be the correct term anymore, because it really isn't space or empty, but full of things. Just like right now, you're focused on the stars at your work. You're focused on what everyone else is. But you know there is something beyond all that that is guiding you and teaching you. You are being prepared. When you see it, the universe will be full. You are quite a philosopher. I think that is why I like you. Not a typical boring professor. Well, I get romantic about things. Not a lot of people in my field share my views. You will be surprised, though, to know that many of my colleagues think about in private. To know what many of my colleagues think about in private. There are many that have incredible theories and thoughts about science, but one must paddle down the same stream of conventional thinking. Otherwise, we are considered crazy and am teaching at a college somewhere. Vickie laughs. You are not crazy. A little off, maybe, but not crazy. Well, thank you for your vote of confidence. What would you like to look at tonight? Vickie looks at all the objects through the telescope, looks at various objects through the telescope. Thank you for all your insight and letting me look through the telescope. You are always welcome. Keep looking up. I will. Vickie leaves and heads home. Valkyrie. Vickie has taken some time off and goes to find Chip. She has lost contact with him as his phone no longer works. She arrives at his home and a neighbor tells her that Chip passed away. Vickie is disturbed and upset. How when? Neighbor, they found him dead of a heart attack a month ago. He was such a nice man. Your family. Vickie, no, yes, in a way. He helped me when I was a teenager. Yeah, he did many. He always had dreams of being a big motivational speaker, but I'm glad he never did because there were people he would have missed helping. People like you. Vickie smiles. Yeah, for sure. He's buried in Chime Cemetery on Tarking Street. Do you know where that is? Yes, I know where that is, thank you. The neighbor gives Vickie a hug and Vickie leaves for the cemetery. Vickie pulls into the cemetery and sees the new graves and one marked Chip. She gets out and looks at a little cross with his name on it. Obviously, he was buried with no stone to mark his place, as he never had anything. Vickie cries and says, thank you for being there when I needed you. I will never forget you. Vickie kneels before his grave and silently reminisces about him. Vickie then walks over 13 graves down, and there are the graves of her mom and dad. Vickie says, Mom, I miss you so much. You were my protector and bore so much of that. I would be okay. I forgive you for what you did with my child. I will never see my little girl, but maybe it is for the best. My life seems to be just plagued with issues, but I will make myself strong to withstand it. Mom, I will protect myself and others if I can, just like you did for me. Dad, I forgive you for the years of drinking. I know you had it hard in life. You tried to make things work, but just could never figure it out, the formula for happiness. I will learn from your mistakes and will be compassionately strong in dealing with anyone like you. I won't tolerate destructive behavior. I will find what my real destiny is in this world. I swear to you I will. Vickie walks away and back to her car as she passes by Chip's grave. That is not fitting for you. Vickie drives to the funeral home and buys Chip a beautiful new gravestone. The director asks what she would like inscribed on it. Vickie replies, motivational speaker, mentor, and loving father. The director tells her it'll be on there in a few weeks. Vickie returns to work as Dan comes to her office. Hey, Vickie, do you like betting these fantasy games? Vickie, like football, so forth? Sort of, not really. Well, there's a game that a lot of executives like to play that I really think you would be great at. Really, what is it? It is the ultimate in betting games. It is called the Lazarus game. You know, Lazarus who was brought back from the dead. The game is we all bet in a pool, and then we pick for another person, a very poor person, and help them become successful at something. There are a lot of rules, but basically whoever gets this person to be successful, achieving various milestones first, wins. What happens to the person after the game? Well, they move on with their life. Hopefully they remain successful. Kind of helps people and lets them see a part of life they never would. Sounds like giving a hungry person just enough food to torture them. No, not at all. It's all in fun. I don't think I'm interested. Okay, well, suit yourself. I think you would have been excellent at it. We could have allied in the game. Dan lays a paper of the Lazarus game rules on her desk. Sorry, my games are for real. Okay, well, you're lost. Dan leaves as Vickie stands at the office window behind her desk. She begins to tell herself, leave it alone, Vickie. I have work to do. Vickie looks at the game paper, and it has a symbol at the top that looks like a Valkyrie. Vickie picks the paper up, looks at Dan in the distance as she thinks, puppet strings work both ways sometimes. Okay, now this is the last page. Other books and information can be found at www.mazaroff.net. If you have any comments about this novel, please write to me at msims@mazaroff.net. I would love to hear your thoughts. Thank you for reading my story, Mike. Okay, that's the end of Vickie by Mike Sims. This book is the first in a series of books. Mike did not write this book first. He actually wrote the book Victim. Let me show it to you. Victim. Mike only allowed me to read to y'all Vickie. So I cannot read these, but this is a very interesting book. It's the book that started it all. It's somewhat controversial. That's why the publisher wanted it. But after people read it, they wanted to know why she was the way she was because of what she does in that book. It's totally interesting. The Vickie character, actually, at this point in Mike's writing, has a life of its own. He's working on another novel of it. It's almost done. He's got a little bit of writer's block and a time issue, but he's going to get it done. And I hope all of you go. These books are available in audiobooks. They're on Amazon. And if you go to our website, there's some more information. But I hope you've enjoyed this. And I think it was nice of Mike to allow me to do this, because y'all realize this is his work. This is his creative work. It takes time and effort. And he does have a day job. He is an IT manager. But this is a really good creative outlet for him. And our daughter's even a writer. So, let me know in your comments what you think. But I hope you'll have a great day. Please spread love and kindness wherever you go. And hopefully you can be a Vickie to someone. That was one of my goals in life. To make a difference. And I think I've done that. Without knowing my background, let me just put it that way. Anyway, hope you'll have a great day. Thanks a lot. Bye.